Hello viewers, Magnica here. Uh, let's work on the Floral Monastery Archetype. I think it's been a few days. I recently uploaded a video that I made on the 1st. Today is the 5th. I've got a flavored water beverage because I've been drinking a lot of soda recently, but I love to get my sip on. Trying not to chew gum during this. So let's get back to the really mediocre cards that I tried to make. So here we got the cards. We have 15 cards in Archetype. Can only afford for one of them to be an extra deck monster. If I'm going to run 3 copies of everything to make a 40 card deck. Because I do plan on testing this. Unfortunately, there's no single player mode on here, so I'd have to fight someone with my really bad cards, and they're probably going to laugh at me. Well, I could always turn off the chat. But first off, let's see if we can get the synergy just right. I think part of the problem is that Child of the Floral Monastery has graveyard effect. And maybe not the strongest one either. Plus, I don't know how to get tokens to work on this site. Let me see if I can try this. I'm still working on the art. Doing the Child of the Floral Monastery Archetype is a little difficult. Let's see if I can do Lavender token. If I can spell. Let me check with Google. I'm probably misspelling a word. Phone. I need your assistance. He has my notes too. Picture with a cute little dinosaur on it. Oh, wrong folder. That's better. There you go. Read. Lavender. Not dar. That thought looked funny. Excuse me. Oh. November, late October and November in Georgia is weird. Georgia as in the United States, not Georgia as in Europe. Because if you're in Europe, it's likely rainy and cold more of the year than not. But if you're in America, on the southeast coastline, it's pretty warm and humid most of the time. But we like to joke about how in winter you're still wearing shorts. But around late October, goodness, I don't really think it's going to be like halfway through November. You get this cold, I don't want to call it a cold spike. It doesn't sound right. You just get this weird drop in temperature. So I turn off the air conditioning, but I have the heater on. It's on automatic, so it's only going to come on if the house dips below 73 degrees. But the house isn't dipping below 73 degrees. It's just, the highest it went is 76, and the air conditioner is set on 77. Not that it has that mode where it can just turn on if it's too cold, too hot, or if so it's either on heater or air conditioner. Effect. Hmm. Token is not listed in here, is it? Nope. No, not that one. Excuse me. Sometimes I just have this really bad problem with aiming. Ew. Sorry. I don't want this thing. So clearing the card. Back to the other cards. It's not impossible to get Child of the Floral Monastery into the graveyard. I do need to edit that. That sounds as if you're summoning 2 tokens. Like, if you're not thinking it through. Or if you overthink it. That's probably the better word for it. If you overthink it, you would think that you're actually summoning 2 tokens and you're not. Summon a blabber token. Sit in either player's. I'm just going to be specific and say 1. Just to let you know that this card only produces 1 token. I'm just wondering how spammable you can do this token generator. You know, it's a low-level monster, and you're going to find a lot of cards that can easily bring out low-level monsters, especially low attack monsters, maybe even a low defense monster. Yeah, I think there are cards that work on low defense monsters too. So in its own weird little way, it's making itself very easy to target for spammage, effect spammage. But the problem with the effect spammage is that it's a graveyard effect. It's really weird. You know, hello, we're just throwing kids in the graveyard. That's what we do in the monastery. No, they don't. They don't do that. But in the lore of the Floral Monastery, they have a system of catacombs underneath the, in the underground, in the basement. They have a system of catacombs. It's at least 3 square miles. And it provides escape routes in times of attack or siege. So, in a weird way, they do send the kids to the graveyard. It's just a really odd thing to do. I kind of want to give it another effect. That would definitely make it stronger. But once again, very spammable. Because, like, you can always do the once per turn nonsense. Or make it so that you can only proc the effect once per turn, due to the fact that certain things can only be done once a turn, such as your draw phase. You only have 1 draw phase, or 1 standby phase, or 1 battle phase. I don't really know about cards that multiply these phases for you, because usually these things are unaffected by card effects. No, better spoken, most of the time cards don't bother messing with your turn phases. They're like, oh, you just do what you do when you can, not do what you do because we want you to, or because I'm going to make you do it. Yeah, my cards made me do it. Yeah, I'm sure that's a meme in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. My cards made me do it. We're gonna save that. So while this card is in the graveyard, summon another token and place it in either. Place it on. Just back to the others. Where is None? She is the second most powerful card here. Second most powerful card. She's the second weakest card here. So meanwhile, the house is currently rocking 77 degrees. Now usually that would be enough to turn on the air conditioner, but because I'm wearing such short sleeves and shorts, my arms and legs are a bit chill. But it's, on the other hand, it's slightly warmish because I've been by the computer and I also have this lamp above my computer turned on. And I think it just feels, the issue is that the air is a bit stagnant. So, while this card is on the field, dogs are barking. Don't you just love how you're minding your own business one day, all day long in your house? You're enjoying your time off, and then all of a sudden you realize there's some dog left her puppies in your backyard. I haven't bothered the little guys because they're under 2 weeks old. They can barely see or hear anything. It's just for the last few days I've been hearing barking, puppy yapping, and I'm like, what in the world? Where in the world? And for some reason I just decided to look underneath the storage building and there's a little huddle of them. I'm like, when did y'all get here? Y'all must have been here for at least 2 weeks. It's just the other dogs don't usually have a reason to come into my yard because I already got 2 dogs tied down in the yard. But of course, since they're not allowed to roam the yard, they can't really dissuade other dogs from coming into the territory. And now that I have 2 cats, I have neighboring cats coming over. Like one day I looked out the back door and I turned on the light and I'm like, who are you? Because this strange cat turns around and looks at me. And she's like, I'm not staying. I'm leaving. Well, thank you for leaving. Like, my cats don't usually leave much food behind after they've eaten. So she's only coming for crumbs or company. See, the crumbs are company. And I guess it's the company. One of my cats is just a little too sexy. Or just a little too friendly. Or either that, she's always been coming over. I kind of miss seeing the lizards around the house. You know the cats are doing their jobs when you're not seeing lizards anymore. They don't leave me presents. I don't need that. They're barking a lot. That dog, the new dog, might be in the backyard right now. Either that or they see a strange cat. Don't know. Don't care. As long as it's not destroying property, it's fine. Don't know what we're going to do when the puppies are mobile. I know some people will be like, oh, give them away or give them to the pound. Yeah. Well, I know some people don't believe in the pound anymore, but even kill shelters have their uses. I mean, it's not like I'm saying it's okay to kill dogs. I'm just saying that when you got too many, you just have too many. And you're like, what are you going to do? You can't force people to take these animals on. So either you go into the kill shelters and you adopt all their dogs, or the kill shelters just do what they have to do to keep numbers in order. The only way you can stop it is to get all those animals out there on the street spayed and neutered. Or just get them off the street completely. And make certain that no one else puts any new animals on the street. And that's nearly impossible to keep up with without everyone's cooperation, because there's always that one person who has a bunch of dogs and then they can't take care of them anymore. And all of a sudden, there are more new animals on the street. Oh well. We'll figure something out. And it's very likely that since my two dogs are not neutered, one of them might be the father. Which is a funny idea about, was it child support? That's a funny way of getting your child support. Like, my dogs aren't roaming. They stay home all day. But she's roaming. But she's like, what if I can't take care of his babies? I know. I'll keep them at his house. Then I'll have to take care of them. Like, well, you're the smartest mama dog in the world. Because usually mama dogs are always hiding their babies somewhere where nobody can get to them. Surely she knows I come in and out that door at least once a day. Twice a day, if I can help it. So she leaves her puppies 10 feet away from the door. And I'm like, I had to have found them eventually. She's not allowed to give me a weird look like, what are you doing looking at my babies? But you're the one who left them here. What are you doing? She's like, I left my babies here. You don't live here. I'm sorry, I need to stop. So, while this guy's in the field, fact, hopefully, it's a level 3 yellow. Oh, there's controls. And this thing just provides self-protection. So let's go back. See disciple. Which one is disciple? He's the third weakest. He's in third place. I could give him a second ability. It's called owner's controls cannot be targeted for battle. What would be a good secondary effect for this? Because he's a level 4 monster. And he's actually doing damage coverage. And I get him a little bit of self-protection. Like, I have Priest as a card search. Trying to remember. I'm going to do something to do with effects. Since this card's already working the battle damage, I want to do something dealing with your opponent's effects. Or maybe even your own effects. So just coming up with weird ideas. Possibly if your opponent negates one of your effects, you can negate one of their effects, or vice versa. Or I'm thinking if your opponent negates one of your effects, you can discard this card to negate the negation. Yeah, why not? Make that his first effect. Hand trap nonsense. Get my keyboard in my lap. Cordless keyboards rock. So let's see. Uses an effect. Yeah. This card from your hand. I'm not even sure if I'm typing it because I stare at the keyboard when I type. I looked up. To negate. I just love it when I type like that. To negation. I have a habit of double typing the word "the." And I'm sure my computer's like, why in the world are you typing the same word twice in a row? Like, I don't know. And I don't know why I type negation, not negation. It sounds hilarious. And the effect almost sounds a little convoluted. Because now I'm thinking, well, what if you were discarding a card from your hand to proc one of your effects, and your opponent was like, hey, you can't do that. And then I'm like, well, then I'm going to discard this card. What you just did. Father of the Floral Monastery, he has an effect where you discard 2 cards to do a thing. So, in that case, you'd be discarding 3 cards from your hand. That's hilarious. The negation. Or just negating all around. Oh my goodness, can the dogs please calm down? I'm going to pause for a second to see what's going on. Hopefully no one's off the chain or off their anger. See ya. I have returned. And then I yawn. Why don't I yawn before I sit down and start recording again? I'm not really too worried about the stats. So if your opponent uses an effect to negate one of your effects, then you may discard this card from your hand to negate that negation. Now this card is on the field, even when flipped down by an effect. Level 3 or lower monsters that this owner controls cannot be targeted for battle. Ow. So let's save it there. Cards, please. So, priest should be next. No, wait. Let's see, the groundskeeper. Groundskeeper's next. Lore-wise, she should be the next one. Yes, I do plan on this card being a female. So the child card is going to have 6 picture variation, 6 image variations. I've been working on them right now. Lately, I think I'm up to 5 variations. It has not been easy to come up with 6 different ideas for, different children, and I try to make their appearances as varied as possible. The hard part is keeping them childlike, which means their heads are going to look a little on the large side. And I just make their hands and feet a little too small. It's just my drawing style. Like, I'm a bit unpracticed for someone who draws well. I just don't practice enough, and so things just look a little odd. But it's okay for kids to have small hands and feet. I mean, it's part of their uncoordinated style. And yes, the heads on a couple of characters look a little too big. Just need to remember not to make them look too grown. Like if they start looking a little sexy, then it's not a kid anymore. That's not a kid. He's too sexy. I know some kids just look a little too good to be true, but you know, especially people who put their kids in beauty pageants and stuff like that. It's not about them being kids. It's about all the things you can do to a kid to make the kid look like a kid or to turn the kid into an adult. I didn't really appreciate that. Ooh, groundskeeper. This monster can be special summoned from the hand with an F that exists on either side of this card is face up on the field. These to be throw the card from their hand to the graveyard. So once again we got discarding of cards. It's funny that she just summons herself to the field for any earth monster. But if any of those monsters on the field happens to be a beast warrior, or a winged beast, then we're gonna have some problems. So we're fine here. Didn't change anything on that. Just 2 effects for a 5-star monster. So Crypt Keeper, you're next. Should I keep that at 5 or block it up to 6? No, just keep it at 5 for now. In the lore, the Crypt Keeper is known as the Keeper of the Catacombs, because at the Floral Monastery they have the system of catacombs underground, but there's also a lot of sacred relics hidden down there too. So you can't just have any ordinary person down there. So lore-wise, the Keeper of the Catacombs, or in this case the Crypt Keeper, is actually a priest. And he helps keep the place blessed and purified. So it's kind of weird just having his rank down to 5, because his should be like on priest level or just below that. And if I didn't already have all this effect text, I'd probably do something to be funky with his level. But I've just made it complicated. And this is actually like after 1 or 2 simplifications. Goodness, it's difficult dealing with this guy's effect. So during the battle phase, check the current level of any zombie At first this was saying during the damage step. Yeah, I should change that to damage step. Because battle phase has so many steps in it that if you don't do things in order, you're gonna cause a problem. I could simplify this. Da, 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 da. Current level of any zombie feed opponent controls is higher. Then this card's the Then your opponent also takes this metal damage as you do. which means your opponent better be better be doing a very good. Mm. This is just to make your opponent hesitate on attacking you, because yeah, the stats on these cards are not going to be that great, which will allow your opponent to, which lets your opponent believe that he could just beat stick the crap out of you. But this card's like, you'll be taking battle damage too. But that's only in the case if your opponent controls a zombie fiend or spellcaster. But those are pretty popular cards to run, so chances are he's very likely using those. But yeah, that makes it so the archetype, you're building the deck for the sake of what your opponent's running. And yeah, that was kind of the point of this archetype. To just counter other types of cards. So, quick effect. Pronunciation issues. So, quick effect. Quick effect. Stop talking. Just quick effect. Discard a monster card from your hand to target a monster. It cannot attack during its controller's next turn. And this monster is... and there's the third effect. With this monster... I think it's okay. This... trap from your hand, turning your trap cards into hand traps. Because people love hand traps. You know why? Because trap cards are slow. So, I think that brings us to the priest. Where is he? That's the head priest. That's mom. That's the nan again. There we go. There's the priest. With a very simple effect for a 6-star monster. Oh my goodness, let's give him something else to do. For goodness sakes. So he's our search card. Bloody level 6 monster. But he's still a search card. Pay 1,000 life points to search your deck for a Floral Monastery card and add it to your hand. With his hand. What else could this card do? I mean, it's giving you search options. I want to say he could do a lot, since he's asking for life points. Why not have him give you more life points? Like, I want to sacrifice his defense, but that's too easy. Because it doesn't matter how low a monster's defense is, if it's destroyed in battle, you take no damage. Unless there's some effect saying that you still take damage, battle damage for it. So it just makes more sense. And since this card's attack isn't that high either, I mean, some of the most desirable level 4 monsters are very close to 2,000 attack, which means this monster is which makes this card very underpowered for being only 2,100 attack at level 6. Because for a level 6 monster, you want it closer to 2,500 attack, maybe 27, or perhaps 29. Maybe giving an attack boost? That just sounds kind of lame, but something's better than nothing. Encourage you to flood your side of the field with more cards. Swarm ability. Goodness me. How did I forget that? Swarm ability is one of my jams because the heart of the cards does not favor me. It's, oh my goodness. He's already in search mode. These guys are not good at defending themselves. I want to do something about that too. And as a priest, he should be lending himself to that regard. But then I do want to kind of deal something about my opponent's spell and trap cards. Most of the time I've been focusing on their monster effects. The spells and the trap cards, they're still out there doing things I don't like. I'm kind of thinking once per turn, gain life points depending on how many spell and trap cards are in your opponent's side of the field. Force your opponent to be careful about how many cards how much of a wall they're putting up. Because that's what some players do. They'll put up a wall and leave you guessing so that you don't want to attack them because, they'll just be proccing effects. Oh, you activated my trap card! Like, seriously? Like I didn't see that coming. You'd had that thing face down for like 2 turns. But you know what? If your opponent's going to be over there sitting on their spells and trap cards, egging you on, you might as well gain some life points off of them. No. During each end phase. I'm just gonna keep it low. Just say and. I want to get back in the habit of saying your owner. Alright, I should just take that off. Now keep it on the small fry. Because when you're specific about who's going to gain the benefit, it's kind of powerful in that aspect. So if I'm going to give a card a powerful effect, it's going to be low leveled. Because low level monsters always have it rough. You need 300 life points for every. That would be fun. Because in case you're because when priest is on the field, your opponent has to be more careful about what he has on his field. Save. That's still not providing the Floral Monastery cards much protection though. So priest is done, so then we go to head priest. which is our only extra deck monster. Next seeds card, level 7, rank 7, excuse me. Exceeds monsters don't use levels. That's silly. So silly. So you need 3 Floral Monastery monsters to get this card out. 3 materials to proc this effect at least 3 times. And you can detach a material to special summon a Floral Monastery monster from your hand or deck. Got some swarm ability, finally. Monsters special summoned this way can attack directly if a Floral Monster other than this card would be destroyed. Battle or effect, negate the destruction and return this card and its attached materials to the deck. So it just gets on and off the field really quickly. Just need cards getting your materials back in the deck. Feel like he needs a 3rd effect. We'll get back to him. But cards. So where's Mother? She's number 2 on the list. Huh? Let's make that level at 8, please. It just looked overwhelming to me. Or maybe it should be a 7. Another female card. So, wow, this guy, and not much going on for her. It's gracious. This is a level 8 monster, and this is all she does. Once this card is on the field, choose 2 of your opponent's monster zones. Monsters cannot be summoned to those zones by your opponent once per turn during your end. But you can still summon your tokens there. Once per turn a Floral Monastery monster from the graveyard to the deck. Goodness. You need a protection clause, Mother. What can you do for the sake of everyone else? So we had Disciple protecting the low-level monsters. But that's only monsters 1 to 3. I want some more general protection. And from what? My father's the one well known for the barrier. I can't remember what his effects are exactly. And I don't want to go to him and then come back to her. But, thinking. But I'm pretty sure that father's effects is based on monster type, once again, being awkward there. We have at least 3 cards that focuses on either type or attribute of their opponent's doings, which makes them very situational, but I think their effects are strong enough to be good for that. No, I'm probably underestimating the situation. I guess you can choose 2 zones on your field and protect them from battle and effect. Protect your... Mother. Do I want Mother defending my monsters or my spells? I want Mother to protect the monsters. That makes sense. Let's see. If one of your cards would be destroyed by an effect. Oh, goodness. I know it's kind of cruel, but I kind of want to just send Mother to the graveyard. And it kind of fits the lore, because in the lore, the Mother Nun the mother of the Floral Monastery, is actually a nun who was chosen by the other nuns to engage in a ceremonial wedding in quotation marks, because this is kind of a false wedding. It's not a real wedding. Like, nuns don't get married. Priests don't get married. But in this ceremonial fake wedding, it's an action to bless the monastery. I should probably make that a spell card of some sort. An extremely situational spell card. That's what the fans want. No, they don't. I'm not gonna do that. But in the lore, like, the mother of the Floral Monastery, the father, they're supposed to be like this grand symbol of, parenthood or something like that. Like two parents who are willing to sacrifice their all for the sake of the home and the family. Because, they're like super awesome. They're super awesome. But, in the story that this archetype is based on, the mother of the nun dies. The mother of the nun dies. Because she was so much older than the guy when they had their ceremonial wedding. But he fell in love with her anyway. So it was still kind of sad. And like, here's a nun that everyone really liked. She was really old. Well, I wouldn't say really old. She was sickly. And that just kind of makes things worse. Like, oh, she's old and sick. She's always been sick. She happened to live a long time with it. And I just don't like the idea of anyone suffering from such a debilitating illness for such a long time. It's just a chronic, I don't know if you could call it a chronic illness, because chronic makes it sound like it goes away and then comes back. It goes away and then comes back. This is an illness that's present 24/7, almost like, I'm about to say almost like blindness, but this illness causes blindness. So it's like glaucoma or something like that. I don't know exactly what this illness is called. And I know that, I guess you could say it's a kind of fibromyalgia. Even though fibromyalgia isn't known to cause blindness, it's just a side effect. The blindness is just a side effect of her version of fibromyalgia. But you do have muscles in your eyes. And if fibromyalgia messes with your muscles, it's possible it could target the muscles in your eye. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. You'll just have to do the research. But yeah, I think this monster sending itself to the graveyard is a very interesting thing to play with the lore. But it's only good when it's on the field. Oh well. Into the graveyard. I want to capitalize graveyard. Almost capitalized destruction. And this gives Father of the Floral Monastery a little protection. Because when they're on the field at the same time, she'll be like, honey, don't die. And usually it's supposed to be the guy who sacrifices himself for the girl. Instead, this time the girl's going to take the hit for him. She's like, no, not my husband. Oh. True waifu. Like, wifey, no. Zombies beware. I'm gonna wreck your day. Nice in this. Yep, make it mandatory. I don't know. It's so tempting to make this a mandatory effect, because it's almost like saying, I don't want this card to stay on the field. It's hilarious. But it would just auto-destruct like that. It's like, you targeted my baby? Nope. like, like, you targeting that priest? Nope. Graveyard. You targeted my hubby? Nope. Me in the graveyard. I did not say from where. That's interesting. I don't know whether to proc this effect from the field or from your hand. You want this thing on the field. All of his other effects, fine, be on the field. We're gonna start this madness off on the field. From this card, from the field to the graveyard, to the great destruction of Floral Monastery card, so that we do provide protection for the spells and traps in case we have to use them. No. I'm giving her a fourth effect. I'm just crazy. I am crazy. I am sorry. But I want to give her a graveyard effect to shove her back into the deck. So I want to say after 3 turns, be like Jesus card. Like Jesus card. This card wants to be like Jesus. After 3 turns in the graveyard, she's back in the deck. Like, oh, she's risen. Well, not risen. Risen would be like putting her back on the field. Nah, she's just back in the deck. Like, hey, you can search me out again. I'm available. Like, Mother the Floral Monastery is available. That sounds so weird. So, like, is she really available? Well, she's not technically married, so yeah, she's available. Like, sure, the ceremony is a mock wedding, but the keyword there is mock. She's not attached to the father of the Floral Monastery. She's just his sidekick. Look at this. I'm gonna just abbreviate stuff because I'm running out of room. Abbreviate stuff. Mandatory. I don't care if Creature of the Catacombs is on the field. This card is getting out of the graveyard, so his attack stat's going to drop a little bit. Like, he's like, Mother, why? I don't support you. I'm doing it for the babies. Like, I don't support you. I already protected you from getting destroyed earlier. Do your job. Again, her attack power is so low. Oh, her defense is up. So while this card is on the field, she... The deck, send this card from the field to the graveyard. The destruction of a Floral Monastery card. If this card has been in the graveyard for 3 turns, return it to the deck. So it's like, get this card out of the graveyard, get back in the deck. Since that's the way it looks, I almost want to turn 3 back in a number. Oh, goodness. Save. Cards. Father, it is your turn for your examination. I hope you're decent. You're running a whole different gambit than Mother is. Which goes to show that despite the fact that they're supposed to signify a united force, they're doing totally different things. I mean, he's a priest, she's a nun. And nuns do different things than priests do. Even though they're kind of the same, but priests have higher authority than nuns do. Because this is a man's world. I know nowadays you have women who are priests, but the term nun usually just applies simply to women. And the male version of a nun is a monk, depending on what culture you come from. So while this card is face up on the field, by the way, eunuch is not the same thing as a monk. It's a totally different situation. Please do your own research. So while this card is face up on the field, zombies, fiends, and spellcasters, yes, we're targeting you guys again. I don't know why we don't consistently do so, because Groundskeeper is not technically a priest. That is why. Father of the Floral Monastery, priest, and head priest, they're all priests. So it makes sense that they all do something similar to each other. And they kind of don't. I can't remember what head priest does at the moment. Brain fart. But that's the reason why Groundskeeper has a slightly different attack stance on this. The lore behind Groundskeeper is that Groundskeeper is based on the person who ends up married to a priest. Because this is my story, my rules. One of the priests who's in charge of the catacombs has the special privilege of taking a wife. He's allowed to get married. Like a real marriage. Kind of. So he picks a woman. So he doesn't get married to her right away. I mean, the guy's installed when he's like 13 years old. So he's not old enough to get married. Even if he has the priest say so, like, he's not going to get married when he's just 13. Who would he marry when he's only 13? Like, well, there are lots of eligible women who live at the monastery that he could possibly marry. Lots of midwives there. The point is, he's always had this girl in mind. One of the orphans. She's always been interested in him. But their story is that eventually they grow up and she decides she's going to college instead, and she works in a prestigious architecture firm, and he's just a priest in the catacombs. And then one day she's like, I'm back. Let's get married. I couldn't get you off my mind after all. And he's like, okay. Like, they're okay with that. There you have their fun. So, not getting into detail with that because I did not plan on going any further with their lore. Me playing with my keyboard. This wireless keyboard has feet that snap in place. Snap, and then snap back under. So I can prop it up. Or just leave it flattish. It's not even very flat. Oh yeah, because the battery. I don't know if I could have designed it, but it would have just been hollow on the inside. I don't know. Maybe it would sound funny if your keyboard was kind of had this big hollow cavity on the inside. I don't know. It's kind of more fun to hold it like this. Like, Just tapping it against my hand like I'm gonna hit you with it. Like I'm gonna bust something up with this keyboard. No, I like it too much. I've had it for a few years. I'm kind of used to it. I like it. I like it a lot. Like, it had some plastic cling wrap on it, and I didn't take that off right away. I like keeping it on. It just made it look new longer. But then it started getting dirty, and the edges were curling, so I eventually had to take it off. Now I have to be careful not to get too many crumbs on it. I have some duster. Some air duster. With bitterant added to discourage inhaling. I kind of wonder if they should actually write that on the can, that they add something on it in it to discourage inhaling, because if someone told you you couldn't do something, and then they added something to the thing you like to do to further discourage you, wouldn't that just make you a little bit more stubborn into doing it? Like, oh, they added a bitterant, I'm going to try it anyway. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't be stupid. Do not do drugs. Drugs are not good for you unless you're sick. I almost want to say, or unless you're really stupid, but being stupid on drugs is even worse than just being stupid. It's not really that funny, but it sounds so stupid. It's funny. Okay, Father of the Floral Monastery, what are you doing? So you're just making those fiends and spellcasters and zombies just sit where they are. You can come on the field, but don't do anything. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can choose a target on the field and banish it. Send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard to resolve this effect. I like having the word graveyard written out, but I really want this font to be a little bigger. Yeah. From your hand or deck. Since Floral Monastery likes to auto-destruct for the sake of other cards, but she puts herself back in the deck eventually, Father can bring her back out of the deck and be like, hey, Mother, welcome back. Would you like to sacrifice yourself again for our sake? She's like, don't mind if I do. And she's back in the graveyard. And maybe you'll use one of those turn-based cards to, get her back in the deck sooner. Because I know there's like the pyro clock that pushes things forward by a turn. That would get Mother back in the deck a little bit sooner. But last time I heard that was a trap card, so don't do that. That'd just be a slow card on top of all these other mediocre cards. But their slowness. Oh, I kind of wish I could give Father a little bit more damage power. Just save. So that was all the monsters done. Let's check some of these. See, barrier is supposed to be a big deal. Because I kind of want to have some synergy with Father of the Floral Monastery. Just give it an extra effect. So, barrier of the Floral Monastery. Dark monsters cannot attack while this card is face up on the field. Still might use their effects. You may skip your battle phase to gain 1,000 life points. Once per turn. Doo-be-doo. You may. Thank you, baby. To grant immunity from your opponent's card. If sparkling of the Floral Monastery. Oh, this is an effect card. That's a lot going on for a quick effect card. Whoops. I'm not treating it like a quick effect card either. Because I got that once. Beast. If Father of the Floral Monastery is on the field. That's much better. Face up on the field. Goodness, what this point? Control Z. Does Control Z do anything? Nope. Change it from quick display to continuous. Or we'll change something else from continuous to quick play or something like that. Or maybe even just make a new card. Let's see. As far as I know, there are only 4 spell cards. 9 monsters, 4 spells, 2 traps. Why not just make a new spell card? I just don't have anything in mind. Was it Harmony? A Harmony card! Yay! And that includes this card, so this card can actually stay on the field even longer. If you keep spending 2,000 life points on it, because you only gain 1,000 life points for every turn this thing's on the field. So eventually you're gonna run out of life points. Because you're losing 1,000 life points per turn for using this card. Now you gain 1,000, then you lose 2,000. Which means you ultimately lose 1,000. I want to give this thing another effect. I don't know what. Just save for now. My cards. We have Ascension of the Gifted, which does not sound like a Floral Monastery card. So I do it for monsters and not spell and not it's because it's not archetype specific. I'm gonna make this a quick effect. Quickly. Save. Now, discipleship for if a child of the Floral Monastery is on the It doesn't matter where on the field this child is. We need a disciple or a nun out there. Stat. My scalp feels tender. And I haven't worn my bandana all day. Two continuous spell cards. So, who's the other spell card? Oh, our field card. Original attack, earth, of light and earth. I could just make that 8. Make it a big deal. The monster's attack has been increased by this effect, and the controller of this card chooses the battle target of that monster. Which means if your opponent's monsters are being affected by this card, you get to choose what they get to do. It doesn't necessarily mean you can attack your opponent directly with his own monsters, because most likely unless there were no other monsters you want for him to attack. I mean, maybe you want to knock out your child of the Floral Monastery, and your opponent is like, oh, I don't want to attack the child. He'll just put a token on my side of the field that I can't do anything with. That's been accused to this. Which means that another card would have to activate its effect. Cards. I have not come up with this. Catacombs! Originally, this was thought to be a field card. Field spell card. Counter trap. So your opponent tries to attack you with a dark type monster, assuming that the field card wasn't on the field. Let's see. Let's make a spell card. How about a normal spell card? We already have cut play. We have two continuous ones. We have a field card. The equip card actually sounds funny, because equipped cards have to be like really specific nowadays, and almost just really because the old school equipped cards, they're overshadowed by a lot of by everyone doing the same thing they do. So if you're going to make an equipped card, it's got to do something phantasmal. I just don't really know what to call this thing. I want a new spell card, a normal one. I don't know, let me check my cards again. Crypt Keeper, what are you doing again? Yahoo! It's very hard to do that. Hmm. Oh goodness. I usually have pretty good intuition, so I really need to just, when something comes to mind, just go with it. If only I could spell. That is. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Mm. Da, 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 da. What a boring card. But yeah, just to have a little filler to the archetype. I feel like I need to do some more research. So let's exit this and try the deck builder, which was back up there. Deck constructor. Clear, please. So let's see if we can get Floral Monastery roll. I forgot how things worked. How do I get my cards in here again? Oh, there we go. My custom cards, please. Take that off. Yay! Oh, you have to left click. Left clicking madness. Left click the madness. So this is 4 times 4, 16 to 15. So that's 45 cards up in here. Up in here. Up in here. So what cards do I need less of? Because we're going to try and aim for a 40 card deck. Need the monsters alone. Oh, of course. Knock off some trap cards. I need to knock off 5 cards. What do I knock off? Monsters are fine. It's the spell cards that are a little all over the place. Or maybe I have too many trap cards. Yay, we're down to 40. Can we, save the deck? Save the last deck. Yay! I don't want to test play it. It's gonna hurt. Oh, it's gonna hurt me so bad. I hate playing against people. I'm gonna feel like an idiot. Oh, maybe if I just spectate. Maybe I'll just watch a battle. Because your deck contains the monsters. I just want to watch. I just want to watch a battle. Just go with the first one. How bad could it be? Terraforming's on. Let's see if my internet connection is crappy. Okay. Alright, Calcos. Do what? Oh, that art. It kind of looks like Obelisk on fire. Did he eat raw somehow? Yep. Yeah. This is one of this card from you. Oh. Got a dangerous monster on the field. Oh, that makes sense. Putting numbers on to help. Of course, Japan does that too. They put numbers on the cards to let you know how many effects they actually have so that you don't get confused about which effects you're proccing. That's a good tip. Treat it as a normal monster. Draw a card. Nice. Well, God knows how long this is going to take, so I'm just going to end the recording here. Thank you all for watching. Bye!